Joke. They're joking.
Oh, is it?
It's a joke. No, so like, do you guys believe in God at all, or you don't believe in God at all? Can I ask you like what you believe in, if you don't mind?
Science.
Scientists.
Okay.
You're scientists.
Scientists. We study.
Oh, you study
engineering.
Okay. So more sort of science-based, right?
Yeah.
And do you not think that perhaps when we even look at science, many of the questions perhaps that science puts forward actually point perhaps more towards some form of a creator, a beginning, rather than something just happening sort of from nothing? Do you not see it that way?
That's a valid point. I just think that it might point towards that, but since we can't really know, it's kind of a bad idea to just assume or just believe.
Do you know why you can't know?
That's something we don't really have any proof of.
No, but you know why you can't know? Because in science you have the problem, I believe, of naturalism. That you assume everything has a natural explanation. So when you cannot find a natural explanation for the cause of the universe, you're forced to say you don't know. Now the bigger problem you have as following science on its own is that if indeed there is a creator, which there could possibly be, science can never recognize it because science doesn't have the capability to recognize the supernatural. Because if you're using a tool to measure something and it doesn't recognize the supernatural, even if the supernatural exists, it's blind to it. Yeah, it will always try to give some kind of natural explanation or say it doesn't know. Yeah. So if a miracle occurs, for example, you're never going to concede it was supernatural. You're always going to try and find an explanation. And this is why in the Quran Allah says this: if Allah was to appear in front of you in the sky now, right, and say, "I am God," well, it's you, yeah, right? You wouldn't believe. Do you know why you wouldn't believe? Because as following the methodology of science, you will fish for a rational explanation. So you'll see that in the sky, you think, okay, what else could it be other than the supernatural? So you'll start thinking of satellites and projectors and all of this stuff. Or maybe we drug your tea. Do you get me? Because if you're using a tool that can never recognize the supernatural, you will always fish for something.
Your assumption that it can't recognize.
No. No. Science has the premise of naturalism, and naturalism basically means everything has a natural explanation. Even if you don't know what it is right now, it does have one. That's your premise. So when you have that as a premise, you can never recognize the supernatural. Do you understand?
So, for example, to follow on from what Hamza
do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
All right.
To follow from what Hamza said.
Oh, okay. You ready for a? Bring it on.
If at one point, we believe that the universe was static, it always existed, and obviously as science moved forward, it said actually no, it came from an infinite density, and then the Big Bang happened. Now, all of these discoveries, if anything, they point towards a beginning. And the problem that you have, like what Hamza is saying basically, is that yet you would always look for a naturalistic explanation, even if the science is actually pointing you towards something which is
supernatural,
which is that it had a beginning. Because everything that has a beginning, it's an intuitive, logical assumption to make that anything that comes into existence must have a cause of its existence. You guys are studying engineering. Now in engineering, something doesn't just happen by itself. There is a cause of it happening. And so the universe, for example, coming into being, it's a rational thing to assume that it also must have a cause of its beginning, right? But now if you follow science and say that there's no other reality but science, the only two options that you will have is, well, we don't know, so we'll just shelve that.
We'll hide behind don't know.
We'll just shelve that and we'll just get on with our life. Or we have a belief, which some people do, that science will eventually come up with the answer as to how this universe came into existence. But it cannot be God. You understand my point?
So science is fishing for something else.
It's looking for something else.
I'll give you an example. It's like me giving you a tape measure and asking you to weigh me. You can never weigh me with that tool because it's the wrong tool for the job. Yeah?
So one question.
I know. You're bursting with that question. Go on.
No, but
So just very quickly, I'll just finish on the last one before you come in.
Sure.
And that's why in the Quran...
It's not a hard question, is it?
And in the Quran, Allah says...
I like easy
And He
questions.
addresses human beings, and He says, did the universe give birth to itself? So it poses a very deep philosophical question to humankind, which is that humans just take a step back and just think for a second. Did this universe that we see, you know, some of the statistics that we hear is that there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on every beach on Earth. Mm-hmm. That's one of the statistics. They revised that statistic now. And they're saying that when they pointed Hubble into a very dark patch of sky, and they left it there for a much longer period than before, they said actually it could be more than 100 times more. More stars than grains of sand on every beach on Earth. Now multiply that by even 100 times more. Maybe in 10, 20 years they'll say it's 1,000 times more.
Okay, that's the point.
Now the point here is, so are we really claiming that all of this, with its infinite orchestration, organization, rules and principles, you know, of physics, laws, mathematics, that all of this simply came into existence from nothing?
And proportioned and organized
And
itself?
nothing was responsible for bringing it into being, and it just happened. And that's the question the Quran asks.
Yeah.
And so it asks humankind to reflect on this. Did this universe give birth to itself? Think.
Yeah.
Let's hear your question.
Yeah, but so my question is basically, I understand that if we discuss how everything began, you can, no matter what, you can either argument that there had to be something before and that something had to be created, or I don't know. But my question is basically, so your argument is that there has to be something supernatural, right?
No.
Isn't it?
No. No.
What's the argument? Or what are you argumenting for?
Oh, okay. What we're basically saying is this. We believe the universe required a cause.
Yeah.
And there's nothing natural that we can imagine was capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we also believe that that cause, by necessity, needs to be uncaused.
Okay.
By necessity, because if the cause of the universe is caused, then that cause will also require a cause, and then that cause will require a cause, and then it will have the problem of infinite regression. And if you have infinite regression, you'll never have a universe. So we need a kick-off point, a start point. All right. So the cause of the universe needs to be uncaused. So we believe that the universe had a beginning, which therefore required a cause.
I understand.
Right, and that uncaused cause requires consciousness. Yeah, because it decided when to create the universe, because the universe is not infinite.
Okay.
It requires intelligence for the way that it's proportioned everything, and it requires powerful, more than anything we know, to be capable of causing it. Right. So that's what we believe. That's our stance.
Okay. But so, is it?
That's fairly reasonable.
But
it's very reasonable. It's very hard to challenge that. I'm telling you. I've got that on lockdown, mate. But thank you for that, acknowledging that.
Limited time because we're leaving tomorrow.
All I'd like to ask you though is that it's not about a battle of egos or who can outdo whose argument or whatever.
Oh, a little bit.
We're all going to die very shortly. We think we have a long life. It was not that long ago when we were running around playing and didn't have a care in the world. And after we go, as Muslims, we believe that we will have to stand in front of Allah, in front of God, the same God of Abraham, the same God of Moses, the same God of Jesus, peace be upon them all, and the same God of Muhammad, peace be. They all said the same thing, that you will face Allah, you will face God, and you will have to account for the life that God gave you, the health that God gave you, the sight that God gave you, and Allah will question you on that day. And so, if I'm right, if Hamza is right, then our conversation has a very deep, fundamental meaning. If we're wrong, of course, you could argue that it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't matter, then Islam only encourages you to do that which is good anyway.
That's the beauty.
To live a wholesome life.
You know that.
To be loyal, to be...
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Because basically people ask me, what if there's no Sky Daddy, right? They say, what if there is no God, and you're worshipping something that's not there, and when you die, there's nothing. Then you lose. That's what they say. I say, look, let's imagine that's right, because you guys are all atheists, I would say, right now, yeah? Agnostics, atheists.
Yeah.
No Christians amongst you, is there?
Atheists, yeah.
Any pagans? Any Vikings? Come on, Viking. Glad
They're
you
Harry
know.
Potter.
No,
They're Harry Potter.
Odin. All right. Anyway. Right. Anyway. Oh yeah, pagans. Yeah. Right. So, I lost my train of thought. So right. So let's imagine you're correct, and when we die, there's nothing. It's all the end. Job done. All right. Nobody loses because nobody knows. Because we're not going to know. We're going to be dead. All right. If we're right. Now, in that sense, you could then say we're wrong because we've been following God and worshipping an invisible entity that's not really there, okay? You accept that? But here's the principle, you see. By worshipping God, I have to obey God, yeah? By obeying God, I have to follow God's guidance. Now, who benefits from that guidance? Me. I don't do alcohol, I don't do drugs, I don't sleep around, I don't deal in interest, I don't gamble. All the things that are causing problems in society, I'm protected from, yeah? And I have values to pass on to my children. Would you agree? Yeah. Of course, a healthy, clean living life. Right. No, you don't.
We don't have much time.
All right. But I want to hear your question, because you're going to ask a question. I locked it down, though, but go on, ask the question.
It's a really, wait, it's a real quick question, but I can only accept like a 5-second answer. So my question is basically, you're kind of, you're a Muslim and everything. So my question is, I believe there's probably been 10,000 religions, something more, something less in the world, right? So why would your religion kind of be the correct?
Allahu Akbar.
I don't want an answer.
No,
I'm just leaving now.
No, I'm going to leave the answer. I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to very quick, yeah? Very quick.
Thanks.
No, we going?
Yeah, we got 2 minutes.
No, I'm going to
We
give...
got 2 minutes to make the tube.
Okay.
All right, let me make it easy for you, very quickly, right? Belief is the acceptance of something to be true without proof. And to accept a belief, you need to question the reasons for it. You know, take a Quran. Take a Quran, man. Take a Quran, man. Don't be afraid. They'd rather read Harry Potter. So there we have it. Our Norwegian friends have left.
Maybe.
They refuse to say the Quran, but they read Harry Potter.